Hey, Jaron has a message for you about our podcast. You better listen and be supportive.
I love doing this podcast, and I'm thrilled to be back doing new episodes. I never laugh harder than when I'm fiddling off the devil with my best friend, Tim. Thanks for joining us for another episode, and make sure you share this with your best friends this week. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. All right, would you start the... Yeah,
I did.
Alex is like, well, we're going to use that whole thing, but now we can't. Would you start, please?
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. What's up?
Have you ever heard of Phoenix Jones?
Phoenix Jones?
Yeah.
Is he related to Osmosis? Are they siblings or cousins?
You know, it's ironic because honestly, let me be honest. Are
you just being honest?
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
They can't see you pointing at it's not up there. I don't have a thing for it.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like,
what
what
the...
the...
picture frame.
All right.
Okay. Phoenix
honestly,
Jones, Osmosis Jones.
Osmosis Jones is the microscopic version of Phoenix Jones.
Oh, okay.
Actually, because Phoenix Jones is a real-life superhero in Seattle, Washington.
No.
Yes.
Nah.
I mean, he doesn't have superpowers, but...
Yeah.
So he's a guy who just...
What's he doing? He's standing on top of buildings, dropping TVs on people in Seattle. He's just up there like,
oh, got him. It's all the timing.
Yeah, and you hear it, and he even does like whistle noises too when the TV's on the way down. He goes, taking out crime.
He makes the hit.
So Richmond has the TV Vigilante, and Seattle has Phonics.
Hooked on Phonics.
On Phonics Jones. What is he? From the shadows of Texas, I will avenge you, son.
So he just goes and mugs the mugger.
He's got a suit made of lizards and snake socks. I was going to say the Weird Drug Empire in a way. He's completely nude under the breakaway suit.
So now
put clothes on. You can't be naked. Things I learned last night.
Oh my God. Phoenix Jones.
Phoenix.
So this guy's a real life, like he's a vigilante superhero.
No. I hate this. I love it and I hate it so much. I hate that it's so far away from where I live.
Yep. He's been active oh
my gosh. Okay.
Been active in the Seattle area since about 2011. And
that feels pretty late to do this. This feels like a 90s thing. This feels like in the 90s someone would be like, I'm a superhero. But 2011?
Yeah.
That's just after the internet exists. That's just sad at that point.
No, I think it makes more sense after the internet exists because it's like...
Is he doing it for the internet?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
But let's do this. If we're going to have to talk about a superhero, we got to tell his origin story.
Okay.
So
his parents were at the theater one night.
Phoenix was born Ben Fodor. What is his real name?
Ben Fodor?
Ben Fodor.
Yeah, I would go by Phoenix Jones too. I was thinking about that. There's that trend on Twitter right now of the My Fall Plans and Delta variant. And I've been trying to think of, I guess would My Fall Plans be Batman's parents and then the Delta variant just be an alleyway? You seen that trend on Twitter?
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of a good one.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I've also been thinking about like My Fall Plans and just putting a 2-piece bikini, and then the Delta variant is like just a youth pastor picture. Is that a good one? I'll tweet that.
That one's good. That one's good. I like that one.
Okay. Thanks I'm glad we're collaborating here.
Yeah, this is what collaboration looks like.
Ew. The weird eyebrow thing? Whatever, dude. So Phoenix Jones.
So
is he a solo artist?
No.
Is he?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean, is there a Justice League in Seattle?
So here's the thing.
Does he have a sidekick? Ben Fodor.
Ben Fodor, he was born in Texas.
Which sounds like one of the names that you would call a nursing home and be like, do you guys have a Ben Fodor? It's really close to Ben Dover.
Okay.
And they'd be like, I don't know if we got a Ben Fodor. Yeah.
People called him bend over.
Yeah. So Ben Fodor.
Ben Fodor.
Nerdy kid, athletic jock.
Well, he was almost immediately after birth put into the foster care system.
Oh.
And kind of moved all over Texas, eventually landing in Seattle, where he was adopted into the Fodor family. He had one brother named Carlos. The two of them...
Did Carlos also get adopted by the Fodor?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
The two of them became obsessed with MMA. So they got really into mixed martial arts and
What
fighting.
year is this? How old is he?
He was born in 88. So, I mean, probably like mid-90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
It would be my guess.
So he's in his 30s right now.
Yeah. Yep.
And active in 2011.
Yes. Yeah.
So he was active like when he was like 20.
Yeah. Yeah. He got started
23.
right out of the gate. This was his college plans.
Well, he graduated. I'm glad he graduated college. 23, he graduated with a master's in vigilantism.
He went to Vigilante college.
Vigilante school.
So
yeah, no, I'm a senior at Vigilante Valley. Yeah.
Vigilante Valley.
Yeah. We got to make a college emblem for that and everything. That's funny.
Save the city from criminals and crime. Call Vigilante Valley. I don't know.
It fell apart at the end.
Yeah, I know.
I love the save the city from stuff and crime.
Vigilante
Drop
Valley.
TVs and save those lives. You know?
There would be a TV school.
Yeah.
TV
Richmond TV
commercial
Vigilante went online. He went online at Vigilante Valley. Yeah. What's that? Is that Vatterott College that did the ads in the middle of the night? It'd be like that guy who's like, you're sitting here watching TV when you could be getting your degree. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Or what was the commercial where the girl was like, education connection?
Yep, I remember that one.
Man.
Yeah, uncomfy.
We should take out local ads for Vigilante Valley.
Okay.
Let's like make a commercial for this made up. We should pull it Accepted. The movie Accepted where they made up that college.
And just make it up.
And then, just...
Yeah, give ourselves degrees. Be the
Are you guys
first people to get the
accredited?
degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got credit.
I have a credit score.
We don't have good credit, but we've got credit.
Are you accredited? Yeah, it's about 568. Yeah. So at 23, he started this. Okay, so his childhood, he's moving to Seattle. What year is that? When he's adopted?
I don't know exactly what year he was adopted. I just know he was adopted early in his childhood. Spent most of his childhood in Seattle with his brother Carlos. They got into MMA, and by the time
that's early for MMA. That's still
it's the early phases. UFC is still kind of a budding thing.
In the 90s, it was.
Yeah. The 90s is when UFC kind of became a thing. It was still pretty underground in those early days. But they became young adults and they started fighting in amateur fights, both of them, and they got pretty good. They both went pro. His brother Carlos did make it to the UFC. He didn't, but they were both still pretty good fighters. And so
his brother Carlos succeeded, and he's living in the shadows.
Well,
right? I'm just trying to paint a picture here. I'm trying to paint a more like growing up in the shadows
of Carlos.
Because we also got to make like a cinematic trailer for Phoenix Jones. You know,
pretty sure it already exists.
Born in the shadows. You know,
born in the shadows of Texas.
In the Texas heat, seeking shade from his brother's shadow.
Seeking shade from the shadow.
Hey, would you do me a favor and shut up? Would you do me a favor and just, roll with it?
Okay, I'll roll with it.
Go on the next thing. I don't even care anymore.
So he...
I still care.
So he is fighting on the weekends, but during the week, he gets his day job. And
imagine being a server at a restaurant and someone's like, oh yeah, like, what are you trying to... He's like, no, I fight on the weekends. Okay. It's aggressive.
Dude, who
would you rather meet someone who's an amateur MMA fighter or someone who's trying to become an illusionist? Which one would you rather run into? Because both of them have a weird personality. Because like SoundCloud rappers are like SoundCloud rappers. You're like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
But like the illusionist, you could have a viable corporate career.
It's true.
MMA, actually. You can't have I don't think they do corporate
boxing. No, but I mean, they do have fights, and like a lot of those, like even the amateur fights, like they'll have like the championship route. Will have prize.
Is there winnings. Is there a road to full-time MMA outside of UFC?
Yeah, they've got a couple other leagues. There's Bellator. I don't know if Strikeforce is still around. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So there is. It's just like any other professional sport. Like there's minor leagues. UFC is the big one. But
yeah. Okay.
I felt like you were about to try to make a joke. Okay.
No, I was serious.
So he.
So his brother made it to the UFC.
His brother made it to the UFC. He didn't last long in the UFC, but he made it.
Yeah.
And so they're good fighters. They're good fighters is the point.
Scrappy
kids. And so he just, I think growing up in the foster care system, he just had like this heart. And so he would always like, he was the kind of guy who he'd be like at food pantries, volunteering at food pantries just because. And his job, he found a job working at a daycare for disabled kids. And so he was during the week working with disabled children, and on the weekends trying to disable people.
Disabled children. He's just he wasn't good enough to make it in the
kids were a little rowdy in class. He's like, hey,
you want to take this to the weekend? You want to take this to the weekend? All right, you sit down.
But one night, he was a dad. He had 2 sons.
Okay.
And one night he is walking back to his car in Seattle with one of his sons, and someone had broken into his car and shattered the window. And
it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, pretty upsetting.
Has it ever happened to you?
No.
Not yet.
Oh gosh. Somewhere along the line, his son like trips in the glass pile and like cuts himself pretty bad. Has to get some stitches. And in that moment, Ben Fodor
became Phoenix Jones.
He vowed to his son. He's like, I will never allow anything like this to come upon you again. And
that's a little less dramatic than I thought it was going to be, because I mean, I got my backpack stolen and my window broken, and I was like, gosh, dang. I was like, I just got to buy new wireless headphones now, I guess. That sucks. Dang.
And this guy's like, I have one option.
From the shadows of Texas. Like, this guy is like...
He's like holding the glass. It's raining in Seattle. He's holding
bloody
glass.
hands,
it's like falling through his fingers.
Slow-mo. His kid's laying there like what is it?
Glass at his knee.
What is it, Uncle Ben?
Yeah, Uncle Ben.
He's laying in the street with... He's like, Dad, I got glass.
Like, I need a Band-Aid.
And he's like, I will avenge you, son. And the dad's like, can you just help me with these blood on my hand? He's like, I will help the blood of this city. There will be no more bloodshed in Seattle.
So no joke. The next weekend, he goes and he gets...
How do you decide on Phoenix Jones, though? Are we going to get to this? How he decides on a superhero name? Yeah, it's... Because you got to go through some branding. What if he's going through he's like, yeah, my superhero name is Nightmare. My tagline is Sleepless in Seattle. And someone was like, no, that's not it. You can't do that.
No, you're not going to do that.
He's like, okay, I'm going to be mailman. And my tagline is "You've got mail." And someone's like, "Do you have non-Tom Hanks references?"
Yeah, I think it was based off some comic book characters that he put together.
Okay. So that night he was like, "Never again."
Yeah, pretty much. And then he
went home, started doing the Spider-Man thing of sewing a suit together.
Yeah, well, what he did is he bought a breakaway tuxedo. Which
the first move, that's what you gotta do. The first purchase.
I'm gonna be the best.
Do you open a bank account as a super? Do you have a business account that you open up?
I need to go get my tax ID.
You go to Bank of America and you're like, I would like to establish. I am Ben Fodor, doing business as Phoenix Jones, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, what does Phoenix Jones, the company, do? He's like, it's not a company.
It's, You'll know eventually. Actually,
just wait.
If I'm doing my job, you'll never know. He actually sets up. He's at the bank, right? So he sets a button down. He's like, next time someone comes in to rob this place, don't push the call button underneath the desk. Push the Phoenix Jones button.
It's an easy button that he wrote with Sharpie.
And he replaced the audio in it, but he didn't replace it all the way, so you still hear that was easy. But say that was easy, and over top of it, it's just like Phoenix Jones. Like. He's just like, yeah, I mean, I'm going to reduce the crime rate in this city. And the person at the bank's just like, okay, well, here's your checks. Takes it to Kohl's. Do they sell breakaway suits? Where do they sell breakaway suits at?
I don't know, but
Amazon? We got to buy breakaway suits. How do we not have them?
That's a good question.
That's a genuine serious. Like, how have we made it this long without having breakaway suits?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Okay, so breakaway.
He gets the breakaway tuxedo. Yeah,
and obviously.
So
spring for it.
The following weekend, he starts climbing fire escapes on buildings, and
in the breakaway tux.
Yeah, in his breakaway tux, and he sits on the roof, like the corner of the rooftops in Seattle, and he's just watching the streets at night for muggings and fights. And when he sees them, he just turns and he runs down the fire escape to go respond to the fight. And I mean, the guy's an MMA fighter, so he just goes and mugs the mugger and just holds him down until the police show up, and then is like, "Here, I got you this criminal." Here
you go, and they're like, "Okay,
what?
We also have to arrest you for assault. Like, if you call us, we'll do this part."
I'm the superhero.
He probably doesn't even say that though. He goes, "I'm a hero." So he's not saying that. He's humble. He leaves him tied up in the middle of the street and disappears into the shadows.
Up the fire escape.
He just watches.
The police are like, "Sir, we see you climbing the fire escape."
And he's like,
"Sir, now
put clothes on. You can't be naked." He's completely nude under the breakaway suit.
So he quickly realizes.
But imagine that you're in the building, right? Maybe you live there.
Yeah.
And you're just in there watching freaking HBO, and then out your window is just a guy. Not even fast, because in superhero movies, they're going fast, right? This guy is just climbing
this. Climbing it.
He's just like, "Don't mind me, I'm just your friendly neighborhood valet driver." Right? He's just
in this tuxedo with buttons all the way up the side, like enamel buttons.
He didn't get an expensive one. It's like that. It's like that cheap tablecloth, like that plastic. That's what the suit's made out of. It protects from stains. He's so loud. He's so loud, dude. You're mugging somebody. Like, how often are muggings happening for real though?
I don't know, man.
Like, you're just out there and you're just like, you're like, "Hey, give me your wallet," and then you just hear. What's underneath it? What's underneath the tux?
Skin.
You hope.
So he noticed pretty quickly. He's like, "This isn't practical for two reasons."
Yeah.
One.
More than two, but what are the two that he gives?
Well, one. He doesn't want people to know his identity. He's like, "This is risky business. I can't let people know my identity. My kids are at risk here."
Yeah.
And that's what I'm out here.
People are going to do worse than break into my car.
And the other issue was that when he was responding in this tuxedo, people were like, "Who is this guy in this tuxedo? What is this dude in this tuxedo doing?" And he's like, instead, he wants people to be like, "What is this dude in this superhero costume doing?"
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, "What, did you just come from hosting a gala?"
Yeah, what's the? So he wanted to be taken seriously, so he gets a superhero costume made.
"Who are you?" "I'm the prom king."
So he develops his brand now, and so he comes up with Phoenix Jones, and he commissions a local company to make him a superhero costume. And this is not a Halloween costume. This is a $10,000 costume.
How did he do that if someone broke into his car? He's paying for you're telling me he's got the resource.
I am convinced that this costume was based off Bible Man.
Oh, can I see it?
Yeah. Like, this is a legitimate superhero costume. And it's got
Is this what they based that Rainn Wilson movie off of?
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Alex? The Rainn Dwight from The Office.
Yeah.
Did a movie where he's a superhero. Or did a show, maybe.
Oh, honestly, it might be. I think I remember that movie. Super?
Yeah.
It might be close.
Okay.
But I don't
think I watched it. I just know about it.
I feel like they made fun of it.
I might watch it tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
This guy's a little what?
He's a little bit more. I think he's a little more serious than what Rainn Wilson was in that movie.
Okay.
Like, Rainn Wilson was kind of a joke.
This guy is like, I'm stopping crime.
Yeah, he's
I have a $10,000 suit and professional headshots. He's dropping that off at the bank as well.
He did.
With his button.
When he fought crime, he would leave a headshot in his suit. So people knew he did it.
I hope they put it in the paper. You know? No one's looking for pictures of Spider-Man. They're getting pictures. Just leaving freaking business cards around.
They're literal. He Vista printed.
He punches a dude, knocks him out. He goes, "Have a good night, miss." And she's like, and runs away like they do in GTA, you know, where and she's running into the wall. She's glitching out or whatever, right? And he just confetti headshots and business cards.
Yep.
And then
call me in case of emergency.
And then just
disappears.
What?
Here's the thing.
Leave a headshot. That's funny if he ties them up and puts duct tape on their mouth and then like just tapes the headshot to their chest. That's a superhero move right there.
Big superhero move.
A big superhero move. That's what that is. That's a big superhero move right there. Man, none of this weak, small things. That's a big superhero move.
Big. You
don't learn that at community vigilante school. You only learn that at Vigilante Valley. In the early days of this show, we did like affiliate ads where we were like, hey, sign up for Grammarly and use code TILLN and we got like 15 cents. And now we just do Patreon. It's a much better way. It's better for us as creators. It's better for you as listeners. And it's a much more fun way for us to interact. We do monthly hangouts like on Zoom. We just hang out and play games online and get to know each other. It's a really fun time. So, but still use our code TILLN at Grammarly.com because I think it's still active. We might get like a couple cents from that. Yeah. But join us on Patreon because we're having a great time.
Yeah. If you don't, we're going to have to start doing mobile game ads. Yes, exactly. So this suit is serious. It's consists of a dragon skin brand bulletproof vest. It's covered in stab plating. And he's got gear too.
Yeah, imagine fighting someone in this suit.
I know.
Like you can't.
So he's got. It's heavy. That's a heavy suit.
I was saying you're fighting the person that's in the suit, and you're just like
can't do anything.
You're doing the I think you should leave thing. Where it's like there's too much stuff on me.
So he's got a bunch of gadgets like freaking Batman. He's got a stun baton, so it's literally a stick that electrocutes people. He's got a pepper spray,
obviously,
tear gas, handcuffs. He also has a first aid kit.
He's a first aid kit in his suit.
Yeah, so he's got all this. He's got a utility belt.
Does he have? Does he have a Phoenix mobile?
No, he does not.
Come on, we got to get this guy a Phoenix Ferrari.
Yeah,
you know, or at least a Phoenix Ford Escape.
Phoenix Ford Escape. The Phoenix Ford.
That's what I'm saying. The all-new Ford Phoenix. It's got pepper spray, handcuffs, and a first aid kit.
I think that's the thing.
With 32 miles per gallon on highway.
So he just starts fighting crime. Like,
yeah.
And really...
in his neighborhood, just across the city.
Around Seattle. Like,
what are his kids doing at night?
He's literally...
what's his day job?
They're with mom. His day job, he's still a teacher at this daycare. So by day, he's a daycare teacher. Like, How's your night, Benjamin?
Oh, I just didn't sleep at all.
You know this city. Ben, your nose is bleeding.
Never again. Like every time he sees this, like he's just like he just spaces out. Like, what do you? I don't know. How do you
fight crime?
Hey, Ben. Who am I to judge? You know, but I saw your duffel bag in the break room, and I don't know what you're into, but there's a suit of some sort.
Yeah, it's almost like a superhero suit, and then I'm more concerned with the tearaway tux.
Who am I? You know, but it's just a little concerning.
A little concerning.
How do you explain that?
Yeah, he can't. So he enlists a friend of his to carry around a GoPro
Sidekick, obviously.
and film everything.
Okay, so he's got liability. A videographer.
Yeah. Well, really, his purpose is so that way, if someone tries to press charges on him, he's like, it was defense. Because he.
So you're saying that this guy is willing to go under more accountability than a lot of local police departments.
Yeah.
This guy's like, I'll willingly wear a body cam.
Yeah. So he eventually did start wearing a body cam as well, but he has this guy who's just got a GoPro on a stick following him around, filming everything he does.
So you're mugging somebody. And you're like, give me your wallet, right? I don't know how muggings work. And then you just hear... But you also hear, wait up, you know, like, and you just see, and you look over, and there's just like a teenager with acne, and just, I don't even imagine like a little stand. I imagine a 2003 camcorder with the flip out screen, and he's just over there, just.
He's like, you hear the sound first, and you like look behind you trying to see what that sound is, and then you look in front of you.
And then you hear trash cans rumble because like the sidekick is never
just sitting behind the trash cans.
Dude, the sidekicks are never like elusive. They're never quiet. Like they're just always just like.
I got you on camera.
Don't
mugger.
mind me. Yeah, yeah. No, it's not
I'm
CNN.
filming this. Say hello to TMZ.
Say hello to TikTok, you criminal. And then like he starts fighting, and he grabs him, and then he goes, "Hey, did you hit record on that?" And I was like,
"Oh no." Hey, can we start this over?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. He's okay.
Here, you just go back to your mugging. I'll be back in a second.
Ma'am, get back here.
We got to start the whole thing over. So he does this every night. He sits up on the rooftops and waits for crime. Mostly like muggings or street fights, or even like he did a lot of like little stuff where it's like if someone was trying like clearly drunk and they were trying to drive, he would stop them. He would go down and be like, "Hey, you can't drive right now. You're not going to do that." Like so stuff like that where he was like
in front of their car,
kind of serving. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe like I'm going to call you an Uber, or I guess back then it'd be a taxi.
Does his suit have a phone clip on it?
Yeah, it's got a Nokia. So he,
what was the sidekick's name in Kim Possible?
Ron?
No, not that one.
Rufus?
Why'd you? No, the computer room kid.
There was a computer room kid?
Yeah.
Man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, what's the sitch? Because he would tell him, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, man. What's his name?
Wade. Yeah.
Does he have a Wade that's sitting in a computer room just like, oh, you got criminals on two miles?
He didn't in the beginning, but we'll get to that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So yeah, he just sit there on the rooftops waiting for crime, and then he'd go down and stop it. And
Alex, if I decided to do this, you would be my Wade, right? The turn was a look of concern. The turn was like I can't tell if you're serious or not. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the look of, I'm not going to admit to anything on a live recording.
So
Alex has no way of looking at the camera and being like, I am not responsible.
I am not a part of this.
Because this is going to surface 10 years from now. This clip is going to be...
You're a superhero.
Yeah. That's yeah. Great. You might want to start a defense. Make sure your lawyer doesn't have braces, but you're going to want to start your defense now. All right, I'll get to work on that tonight. I'm about to do some vigilanting.
I'm about to vigilante all over the city.
Ew, I don't like the verb of that. I don't know.
So things are going well, and he starts to build like almost this notoriety. He starts getting brought on like local news, radio and TV for interviews.
Without his mask?
With his mask. He never reveals his identity. And so he's wearing his mask and they're asking him like his motivation, what he's doing.
Does he use a different voice?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think he does.
Because honestly, about the time that the Dark Knight movies were out.
Yeah.
You know? So he's like, yeah. And they're like, okay. And he does it the whole time he's there too, not even on air. They're just like, hey, thanks for coming in. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
And they're like, okay, you don't have to do that here. We're not going to tell anybody. Tell anybody what? Like your true identity. This is my true identity.
This is who I am.
We know who he is, though.
They bring the chief of... We do now.
Oh? I will wait. Sorry.
So they bring the chief of police on, and the chief of police is like, we don't advise that anybody does this. But they
if you're gonna.
Well, they were like, but Phoenix Jones, they're like, he understands the law. He knows what he's allowed to do and not allowed to do, and he never crosses the line. And he's helped lead us to a lot of arrests. And so they're like, we don't advise that anybody does this. We think it's very dangerous. And we've told him that we think he's really risking his life, but we're thankful for the service he does to Seattle.
Okay.
And so he has a good reputation in Seattle as someone who's actually out there studying the community and helping people from dangerous drunks.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's just dangerous drunks and drug dealers. He had a pretty big...
accidentally takes down the kingpin of the whole area.
He was big on drugs. Like he put a lot of drug dealers behind bars.
Yeah.
And speaking of, over the course of his, I don't know what you call this.
When
career.
you said speaking of, I thought you were about to try to pivot to our Patreon supporter. I thought for whatever reason you're like drug dealers behind bars. Speaking in my head, I was like, how are you going to tie that together?
Yeah, I'd like to see this one.
Yeah, I couldn't wait.
So no, speaking of...
Do you want to try to do it? Let me try to do it. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. Do you got one ready?
Speaking of crowdfunded things, because isn't that what a drug empire is?
It's pretty fair.
I don't think I want to do that. I was going to say that we're a drug empire in a way.
In a way.
But the drug is the podcast.
The drug, that's pretty fair.
And these stickers that you have on your laptop. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to do it. I'll pass.
Okay, cool. So he...
We'll do it later.
Okay.
So wait, his suit... Did you say dragon hide?
It's a dragon skin brand.
What does that mean?
Bulletproof vest.
What is dragon skin?
So it's a brand of bulletproof vests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, he's got this suit made of lizards. I'm still on it, you know?
You're good.
He's got a suit made of lizards and snake socks.
Oh, and that makes a lot of sense.
He can wiggle his toes in there and everything.
Wiggle his toes in his little snake socks.
It sounds like it's RuneScape. It sounds like a suit that you'd buy on RuneScape.
Did you see
Gecko fingers?
Kanye's new Yeezys?
No.
Somebody posted a picture of them.
I imagine they look like Crocs.
Well, that's a good imagination.
That's a good imagine. Hey, that's a really good imagine. Are you pulling up a picture of him?
I'm trying to find him. He's just got so many. It's hard to find them. But they were so basic. Like they were so basic. It's like, oh, here they are. And someone was like, man, Kanye's really trying to bring us into RuneScape with these shoes.
He looked at a pair of like Dutch clogs and was like, can we make them Dutch cloth?
Can we? Oh gosh. Yeah, they look like the shoes in RuneScape. Like literally, that's the shoes in RuneScape.
I don't know, dude. I just feel like at a certain level of celebrity, you can sell anything, and that's really annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Because he was selling those white T-shirts for like $180 at one point, and I was like, come on, dude. Anyway, okay, so chief of police likes him. I put some criminals behind bars.
Yep.
Speaking of,
what?
That's what you did. That's where we got off on this tangent.
Yeah, speaking of, allegedly, he has helped lead the police to 123 arrests over the course of his career. As a vigilante.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah, so he's
averaging one a month.
He's fought crime, which is pretty crazy. But somewhere along the line,
does he have any enemies? Does he have any like?
Very sad to find out there's no vigilante supervillains.
Oh, bro.
And you know this.
I'm pointing at you, Alex, not the camera. I'm pointing at you. What if I'm a supervillain? Would you be my Wade? You know what I'm saying? Would you wade into the waters of evil with me?
No. Here's what I realized.
Am I about to cause a ruckus?
Oh my God. Your name could be Ruckus. Phoenix, is me, Ruckus. I've come to ruck up what you're doing here in Seattle.
Oh yeah. I like this. Yeah.
It's shocking to me because you always hear people are like superheroes, they bring out the villains. If there were superheroes, you see all these supervillains would come. They didn't.
Well, not yet.
I guess, yeah. We just witnessed the birth of one. Never again.
Dude, and I started breaking car windows. You know, that's where I started. That was my gateway.
That was my gateway to supervillainism.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, that's not true. I started by sneaking food in the movie theaters, and then I graduated to breaking car windows. And now, oh man. Watch out, Seattle.
Watch out, Seattle. Yeah. So his vigilante career went pretty well.
Okay.
But and he had a really good reputation. But over time, this reputation sort of started to sour, if you will.
Oh.
Because there was situations he got himself in that some people in the public had problem with.
Okay.
For example, and I think there's good reason for a lot of this. For example, he had come across a group that was dancing in an alleyway that he mistook for a fight, and so he ran into this alleyway and he just pepper sprayed everybody. And also a couple people who just happened to be walking by.
Okay, but imagine though, why are you dancing in an alleyway at night? What are you doing?
That's Seattle.
What, he went up to the Jets and the Sharks and just was like, you know, and they were just dancing. What are you talking about dancing? Like, what are they filming TikToks out there?
I don't. It's too early for that.
He's like, you guys want to go to the alley and do a Vine? Like what was it then? What year was this?
I don't know what year that was. The timeline's kind of hard to pinpoint a lot of these moments in the timeline online because there's just like there's so many. He
mistook someone planking as a dead body. You know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the internet.
And he sat them on a log and floated them off into the bay.
Gave him a Viking funeral. and the whole time they're committed to planking so much that they're going to let a strange man.
It was a big deal back then.
In a snake suit.
You did not mess with the plank.
And just
in a snake suit.
Put him on a log, set him on fire, and still.
The last thing he says is he's like, laying there in the bay. The guy's like lighting the match, and so he's laying face down planking. He like looks up out of his eyes and he's like, "Hey, cool socks, man."
Oh my gosh, he's out there and he's just like, "I hope we go viral for this." And then that
best plug ever, right?
The sidekicks over there just like
the sidekicks making the music to put instead of dubbing over the track. He's like.
What are you doing? I'm just doing the
it's
music
the song,
behind.
remember? I've been telling you we need a song.
We can put it in post. Like he's concerned with the editing process.
He's like, Phoenix, I've been telling you we need a song.
Yeah, we can put it in post.
He's like,
we'll get it from Audio Jungle.
But we won't take the stamps out. I'll
illegally download it. It's the only crime I permit.
Audio Jungle.
It's the woman's voice though. She goes, Audio Jungle. You know? We'll get it from LimeWire.
So he gets in a couple of these where it's like they kind of turn sour, and
so he accidentally pepper sprayed a dance crew.
Yeah, public perception of him is not as good as it was before.
Was it the Jabberwockies or whatever they're called?
He's like fighting him, he's pepper spraying him. He's like, they have no face.
He's like on the top of a building and he sees a bunch of blue men on the ground, and he's just like, "What are these blue? What's this blue man group doing?" Right? And he runs down and just starts karate chopping all of them.
So he his public perception has started to kind of sour.
He misreads some things.
Has some bad calls. So he decides the way to solve this problem is to found what he calls the Rain City superhero movement, which it's the Justice League. He says I need a team, and he goes on.
Find me a Wade.
He goes on this rigorous search for his team of superheroes
on Craigslist. He's just posting.
Bro, he actually it was intense. He did background checks. He did a full interview process.
But not legit background checks. He just called your references and then followed you around and was kind of like, okay, this seems legit.
He sent his cameraman to follow them around for a while. You're not supposed to see me. I'm not here.
What are you doing?
You applied to be
a superhero.
And that's how you found out if this person was worthy of being a superhero or not.
Is how do they respond to a camera?
How do they respond to a camera guy?
And they actually had a physical test. And he, in the process of building his crew, he was in another interview, and he was bragging about the fact that he had turned down 6 out of 6 applicants. And so apparently it was pretty hard to become a Rain City superhero.
And in high demand, I guess, as well. 6 people.
He ends up putting together this crew of 10 superheroes. And my favorite part
Do you get a suit when you join it? Or
my favorite part about this is he has his $10,000 superhero costume, and the rest of his crew is just
tuxedos,
wearing luchador masks and bandanas over their face.
The person in the purple hoodie is straight up the camera person. They're in blue jeans.
Like literally just wearing whatever and then something over their face.
Yeah. So he's out here patrolling the Seattle streets with Antifa. And
that's kind of what it looks like. Over time, they did all start to get new costumes, but in comparison,
because Bible Man's in there on the left over there.
In comparison, they still everybody else basically has Halloween costumes.
Someone's just
got his $10,000 costume. This is a newer photo of his crew.
He's not wearing a mask though.
Yeah, so this is new. So I guess we need to get to that now. I guess
you can't wear a mask and hide that fresh fade though. Look at that. That's a sharp haircut.
It is a sharp haircut. He went by the nickname Flat Top in his MMA career.
Who's his barber? My gosh. And then this dude on the other side, the green mask with his neck out, whatever, is just a dad. Like that's an old neck.
Look at that neck.
You can tell
an old guy.
that you're that guy is 48 at least.
He's older. Yeah,
you think he's older?
Yeah, looking at that neck. I don't know.
That's an old neck?
Yeah.
You think it's 60s?
Yeah, maybe. He's got some wrinkly neck.
You're thinking, not that 48's old. I'm saying that guy's older than should be fighting crime.
Oh, absolutely. I think all of these people are older than should be fighting crime. I think there comes a point where it's like, you're an adult. You need to get a real job.
What do you want? Vigilante teenagers out here? You want vigilantes running the street? That's what you want? You want there to be a cutoff age?
Mom, guess what? I made it into Phoenix Jones' Vigilante program.
Did you watch Teen Titans? The drama that exists among that group.
So he starts fighting crime with this crew, right?
What are they called? The Rain City?
The Rain City superhero movement.
Yeah. Sounds like an improv team.
It's kind of what they were doing.
Thursday nights at 10:30 at night. 10:30 p.m. is when we start the Rain City superhero team.
Anywhere in Seattle.
Anywhere. Hey, thanks for listening to Things I Learned Last Night. Just so you know, we got a new merch line coming out for this summer. So you've been working on that summer bod and you want to show off how ripped you are, you can get a small t-shirt from us. Or if you've not been working on that summer bod, why don't you check out our 2X selection? So we do have some really cool designs. I'm actually really proud of them. We got like a honkin' and bonkin' shirt. We've got just regular Things I Learned Last Night. These are, listen, we don't make a ton of money from this show. This is literally to help cover our expenses, which, like microphones and Alex. And so thanks for supporting our show.
So
we do pop-up shows.
So they break into groups and they patrol the city. And same thing he always did. If crime breaks out, they respond. And they do whatever they can within their legal
Do they have
limits.
a saying? Do they show up and they're like, Rain City Superhero Group? And like one person's like, superhero. It's like too late.
Motions. And the guy's like gone by the time they finish their little announcement.
Because they do a whole intro thing for each individual person. And it's like the camcorder guy's running around and it's just Phoenix Jones.
Captain Paintball.
Tiffany.
Everybody else just goes by their first name. Just their first name.
Lionel. That's the old guy. Lionel's the old guy,
Oh my God.
That's a name that's dying out. You don't meet a lot of baby Lionels.
You don't. So when they become a team, they start having more and more issues where they took it a little too far. So it was like a little bit more liability.
Yeah, it becomes like a mob mentality. Yeah, like if that person's, so waterboarding a person, I guess we can do it too. The
perception wasn't great. And so Phoenix concludes the only thing to help public perception
is to turn on his team.
He holds a press conference at City Hall.
Oh my god!
On the stairs of City Hall in
Seattle. This guy thinks it's amazing. I love it.
He's on the stairs of City Hall. He gets a podium. The chief of police is behind him. The mayor's behind him.
No mask, but he still uses the voice.
He's got his full armor on, right? And he gives this speech to the city. It's on local news, right?
You were about to say national news.
It's on local news. Phoenix Jones calls press conference. That's the headline. And he's like...
The city of Phoenix tuned in on accident.
They're like, oh, this is us? And so he makes this big speech about how much of an honor it's been to protect Seattle over the years. But he's like a few events have taken place, and he's like, I've realized that the only thing to help me and the Rain City Superhero Collective is, and there's a dramatic pause, and then he takes off his mask, and he's like, I am Phoenix Jones. My name is Ben Fodor. He's like, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother. I'm just like all of you. And then he dramatically walks away from the podium and just leaves.
And everyone was like, Phoenix Jones holds press conference to tell us what we already knew.
And from that moment forward, he starts not wearing the helmet. And he's
but
like,
still
I'm out.
but still doing the vigilante
still
stuff.
doing it. But he just has his head out now.
Did he think people were going to erupt in applause?
I don't know what he expected. I think he expected people to be like, oh my gosh, we know who Phoenix Jones is now.
I'm Ben Foder. And everyone goes, ha! And he's like, no, I said Foder. Foder, not Dover.
But it was a risky move because he had sponsors for his professional fighting career. Turns out that worked for him. They liked it, and they were like,
"Wait, he was doing the professional fighting thing the whole time
he's
as well."
Still professionally fighting, and he's still working at the daycare. And the daycare, it was risky because the daycare's like, "Do we want this guy working with children?"
Yeah.
The answer was no.
Obviously.
And so, but he continues fighting. He ends up marrying another member of the Rain City. Yeah. The Rain City Music Collective. It was actually Music Collective, Superhero Collective.
What'd you say?
I said the Rain City Music Collective on accident because that sounds like what that would be.
Music Collective. Okay.
Rain City Superhero.
I thought you said the Music City Superhero Collective, and I was like, Nashville's got one too.
Yeah. So he marries one of the other superheroes, and coincidentally, she becomes the only other member of the superhero group with a actual suit. And so,
hold on though. Why does she look like Megyn Kelly?
I don't know who that is.
I'm gonna pull them up side by side.
Okay, great.
You're telling me. Hold on. How do I get this to be here? The news reporter? Megan Foder. Sorry, she probably goes by Megan Jones. She probably took the superhero's last name, right?
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, so she gets a really great superhero.
What's her name? Flagstaff?
What?
Flagstaff?
Oh my gosh. They're Flagstaff
Phoenix and
Jones.
Flagstaff.
No, her name's Purple Rain.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And she actually founded a nonprofit called Purple Rain that helps victims of domestic abuse.
She got sued by the estate of Prince.
She was the Wade. She was the one who was always running the
radios. Okay.
Which is kind of annoying that she had the best suit out of anybody else, and she'd never win anywhere. So whatever. Superhero Collective fights crime for years. Things are going great-ish. I mean,
did the public perception kind of turn around a little bit? After he was like, I'm Ben Foder?
It was so-so. That didn't
like, we can't hate Ben Foder.
We can't, yeah, he's a UFC fighter. I mean, he was like he had local fame for fighting.
Oh, okay.
And so people knew him.
Yeah. They were like, whoa.
They're like, oh my gosh. That actually harmed his reputation more than it helped him because people were like, okay, well, one thing he did, Seattle is a mutual combat city, what that means is if two people agree prior to it, they can fight in public.
What?
And so if at any point I'm like in a disagreement with you, we're out in the street and I could just be like mutual combat and you'd be like mutual combat.
Do you just say mutual combat? Is that the rules? Is that like the
mutual combat?
So you're telling me that all these kids down at the Independence Center that are getting arrested a lot, and they're being like, hey, you guys can't fight here. All they had to do was like, oh, it's mutual combat.
Mutual combat, okay. Yeah,
it's a new video game. It's like Mortal Kombat, but it's just mutual combat.
I consent.
And the voice goes, mutual combat. Like, what?
So he'd find these drunks that are doing, they're
mutual
drunk,
combat.
And he would be like, hey, mutual combat. And they'd be like, yeah. And he would fight these drunk people. And people would be like, wait a second.
Oh, okay.
This sober UFC fighter wearing a bulletproof vest
is getting consent from these.
Is ripping into a drunk dude on the side of the street, just mauling him because obviously he's a better fighter than this inebriated white collar worker in Seattle. And people are like, oh, that's weird now. Like that. Now that we know that, it's like, oh, I don't like that. And most of his crimes, that he fought were that.
He was walking up to people, just so we're clear on the whole situation.
Yeah.
No mugging happening. Just a drunk guy chilling.
No, it was a drunk guy who was doing something. So
causing problems.
Okay. He's
so this guy's like out here. He's like yelling at women. He's yelling at people.
Yeah,
he's
maybe
like
pushing someone on the street.
Yeah, he's like causing a whole scene. All right, and then you just hear, and then you hear the camera guy, and then you also hear mutual combat.
And the drunk guy's like, yeah, mutual combat.
You have to say it back.
Mortal Kombat.
Hey, Tim. Mutual combat. Say it back. Say it back.
Whatever I say, you have to say back to me. Mutual combat.
Simon says, say mutual combat. If you say mutual combat, I won't kill you.
And so then there was a moment where everything just kind of spiraled.
Yeah, there's a few moments, but okay.
So here's real quick.
Did he kill somebody?
Real quick, a couple interesting things happened to him. He got stabbed trying to intervene in a drug deal, which damaged his costume. And his skin,
his body. Yeah, that was the most important part, though, was the costume.
His bulletproof vest saved his life. He got shot, and the bulletproof vest saved his life.
Wow.
And he did have his nose broken with a ton of other minor injuries. But other than those things, there hadn't been a lot of catastrophic damage to him or anybody in his crew or any of the quote unquote victims or perpetrators of the crimes throughout his whole career. Until one day, it was an average night. They were out fighting crime. They witnessed a crime and they were chasing the perpetrator, his crew. And while they were chasing this guy, there was a drive-by shooting. And one of the stray shots hit a 21-year-old girl and killed her. And Phoenix,
21 girl that was part of the chase.
She was just in the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Phoenix.
Nobody ever caught the shooter. Nobody knows who the shooter was or what the motive was. But Phoenix is convinced that they were after him. Which actually there's merit to, because he had been really putting a hamper on the drug trade in Seattle.
Yeah.
And putting a lot of dealers behind bars. And so there's merit that there would be someone who would want to kill him. And so what he thinks is that the whole thing was a setup. That was a crime that was faked. And the runner took him to an area where the drive-by could happen and they could shoot him. And he's blamed himself for that girl's death ever since then. So he started like a big campaign to try to figure out who did this thing, and went to like extreme lengths to try to solve the crime and fix the situation. But he also commissioned a comic book to tell his story, and in the comic book, they told that story in pretty graphic detail, and depicted images of this girl getting hit, and it's a real person. And when people found out that he did that, the backlash was huge.
Yeah.
And surprisingly,
because her family's got to be mad
surprisingly, her sister came out publicly and said that she thinks it's a good thing. She said, I want my sister's story to be told. And he did include in the comic at the end like a hotline for tips, like to help solve the crime. And so that really, really kind of eroded his public reputation. The police didn't want him involved in the city anymore. The public didn't want him involved anymore. He was still somewhat active, but he kind of started to recluse back and kind of disappeared out of view.
Sure.
The majority of what he did from that point forward was campaigning to try to figure out who did that crime. Yeah. Well, couple years after that, he has been very inactive. He actually was arrested in a sting operation where...
in a sting operation to get him?
Mm-hmm. The police got him on drug dealing. And apparently...
What? So he was fighting the drug things, taking the drugs, and reselling them.
Apparently the whole time he had been dealing... cocaine, Molly, shrooms, putting his competition behind bars and dealing drugs the whole time. And so they get him in this sting operation. He
Phoenix
goes to jail.
Jones.
Isn't that crazy? Goes to jail, does his time. He's out now. And
goes to jail and is like, hey guys. Remember when we mutually combated? You know?
It's like, man, never should have taken that mask off in that press conference.
That's what I'm thinking. Now he's in jail with everyone that he's mutually combated. That's like going to a party of just ex-girlfriends, and you walk in, you're like, "This is weird, huh? Yeah, this is weird. Yeah, that's crazy. How long do I got to stay here? Oh man.
So in the wake of all this, the superhero movement, the Reign superhero movement, like starts making all these public statements about what it was like working under Phoenix Jones and how it was a terrible work environment, how he promised them all these things. He promised them all bulletproof vests.
You're telling me this guy's not a good boss?
Yeah. He promised
it was
everybody.
Honestly, it was a really toxic work environment. Like, I was constantly being asked to put in 50 hours a week.
It felt like every day was a fight.
It just like, I was taking a toll on my body and my mental health, and and there was no benefits. There was no health benefits.
Well, that's the thing. He promised them health insurance and he didn't give it to them. And
you're telling me that you're talking to a guy who's starting a superhero collective and you're bargaining benefits. You're just like, yeah, but are there health benefits? He's like, oh, there will be. Yeah. Vision and dental included.
He promised all this stuff and didn't follow through on any of it.
And the guy was like, yeah, I've got a cavity, but I'm just going to wait until our benefits kick in.
Are
you serious?
Yeah, 100% serious.
Was there an HR department? What are you talking about? You got to go talk to Purple Rain? Do you have to call her Purple Rain the whole time? Do you just stay in character?
Yeah, you can't call each other by their birth names.
In the office? Is there an office?
Yeah, they have the tower. The Reign Collective Tower.
I'm so... Okay, go ahead.
So they end up distancing themselves from Phoenix Jones, and his wife divorces him. She distances herself from the whole thing because she's like, I'm
doing her own thing.
She's like, I own my not-for-profit. It's named Purple Rain, but
and she's probably going to, like, I imagine they go to hospitals and hang out with kids in their super suits and stuff.
Well, she doesn't want anyone to know she's a superhero anymore. She's like, I own a nonprofit. She's like, that's what I do.
Called Purple Rain.
Named after the superhero.
Yeah, like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, no, there was a superhero. Shut up.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Don't talk to me.
Hey, please don't bring that up. No, it was just like, it was like, hey, mutual combat.
Hey, this is mutual combat. So she leaves, but the superhero collective, while Phoenix is in prison, is still functioning in Seattle and still out there fighting crime. He gets out of jail, and
he's like, "Can I be back in the collective?"
No joke. He gets out of jail, and there's a video of his crew out there fighting crime, and some guy on like a street corner is like, "Hey, Phoenix is out tonight too?" And the guy's like, "What'd you just say?" And the guy like walks up to him and gets like he's like, "What'd you just say?" And the guy's like, "Phoenix is out tonight." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Phoenix?"
A guy like in a suit.
In the suit.
Phoenix?
What'd you say to me? What are you like? It's hilarious because it's almost like he's like jarred. Like he's like,
Did you guys know about it?
Phoenix is out?
Phoenix.
Yeah, but now he's still campaigning to try to find the killer of that girl. And he's also got campaigning vaccinations. He's trying to get everybody to get their vaccine.
It's hard to hate the guy.
So he and that's.
But it's wild that he was just taking the drugs and selling it the whole time.
Isn't that gnarly?
Crazy.
And through his whole career, he was he was the face of a lot of campaigns.
Guys, he was the villain the whole time. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I didn't even draw that connection.
He was there snake. Are no heroes.
Yeah.
Never meet your heroes. They'll always let you down. Like, I really look up to that guy. He's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I thought you were going to say he got me too'd. Honestly, I thought you were going to be like, yeah, he's fighting all this crime, but also like behind the scenes was just leading girls on and
none of that. But,
being really inappropriate.
But yeah, he was committing crimes, and all the while the state is and the city is like commissioning him for their campaign. So he's doing their like don't do drugs campaign. He's Phoenix. He's like don't do drugs.
Like, don't do drugs.
And there's like a 911 commercial.
Well, isn't there theories and studies on how the DARE program actually increased drug use?
Yeah, I have heard that. that. So yeah, he was doing.
I don't know if that's just a myth or not, but
there's a video or a commercial of him on a playground. Like all these kids are playing, and he's like.
He's like, I'm gonna fight these kids. If you do drugs, you're gonna watch me beat these kids up. That's how we should do it. That's how we should do it.
The kid's on the swing.
You gotta, like, you gotta threaten these drug kids.
He's swinging too far. And he's kicking him, and he just turns. He's like, mutual combat.
There's a kid pulling his cape.
Listen, kid.
He's just like, don't do drugs. Stay off the street. Don't do drugs. Listen to me, kids. You. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do mutual combat. And this kid's just like, mutual combat. And then he just rocks him, dude. Like, he just launches it. He's like, I'll push you on the swing. And then, like, kid goes flying into the sun.
But yeah, that commercial, literally the kids are playing, and then he just turns the camera and he's like, now kids, he's like, what do we do if something really bad happens? And they're all like, call 911. And that's it.
And he goes, no.
Hands him the button.
It takes two of us. You have to do your part. You gotta do your part. That was Jones. Shots not out my nose.
Oh my god.
And they cut that out of the ad, but you know he said it.
Yeah,
he's like, call 911. And they freeze frame it, but if it keeps going, he's like, no. He saw the final edit and was like, what the heck, guys?
This is not what I said. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Wow.
So now, is he out there vigilanting to this day?
He is occasionally out now.
Can we go fight each other in Seattle and then get
try
broken
to get him
up?
to come out.
I'm so serious. That's part of the TILLN road trip.
We're going Phoenix Jones spotting.
If we ever do a show in Seattle, because we are doing live shows.
Yeah.
And if we ever do a show in Seattle, I pray someone cause some trouble at our show.
Get a little ruckus going.
Get a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some ruckus out of there and get Phoenix Jones to show.
But then with our luck, this goes off on TikTok or whatever, and his story is wild, and then we got a group of vigilantes, so then they show up all Gen Z and up the place.
Yep. That's exactly what we want.
What would Teen Titans look like now? Just
Teen.
Like,
where
bro,
are they
that's
now?
straight
like a
facts.
VH1. Where are they now?
No, I was thinking
Titans.
like, what would Teen Titans like Gen Z?
Oh, if they were Gen Z Teen Titans.
If they were, yeah.
I was thinking they're like.
Like, dude, the crime in the city is too much. Facts, bro.
Facts.
I thought all that language was jokes, and then I did a show a couple weeks ago out in Kansas, and you could watch these kids' faces because they were like high schoolers who their parents brought them to this show, right?
Yeah.
And then because they didn't know who I was, and so after they're like, "Yeah, it was really funny" or whatever. And while we're talking, I was watching them pull up my TikTok.
Yeah.
And they can see how many followers I have on TikTok, and then you could see their body language change.
Yeah.
Like I was watching them like slowly show it to each other, and then I was cool.
Interesting.
Does it happen with high schoolers? That doesn't happen to you, but I mean, have you seen high schoolers do that?
No.
Where like all of a sudden you're cool to high schoolers?
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a good moment.
It's a good moment.
Because they're terrifying. They're terrifying for that first like 5 minutes. Because you got to sit there and they're making you justify why you're cool. I hate teenagers.
Yeah, that's
rough. And then they find out that you're cool in their measurements.
And then they're like, oh yeah, this guy's cool.
And then all of a sudden they're just like, oh yeah, bro, that story was like great. It was really good. Facts, man. It was a good story. Like they straight up were saying facts and cap, and I was like, I thought that this was made up. I thought we were doing this as a bit.
A joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's how they actually talk.
Yeah. Well, not all of them, but
Yeah. Well.
Anyway,
that's fair.
So if you're a vigilante, stay away from the show. But if you are Phoenix Jones, you got a ticket with. Do you want us to put under Ben Foder or Phoenix Jones?
Phoenix Jones.
One or two tickets? Probably one.
Yeah, probably one.
Two.
Maybe one. Probably one. Yeah. So I just like at this point. I mean, there's a chance he's out there tonight. I mean, here's the thing: as our listeners, if you're in Seattle, I challenge you. Glance up at the rooftops tonight. You might just see Phoenix.
What is he, freaking Santa Claus?
Standing on the edge of one of the...
Hey, we need to put superhero music in the background of this, by the way. Go ahead.
Standing on the edge of one of the buildings, looking around the city.
Never mind, I'll do it with my mouth.
Just looking for crime around the city. You see some criminals criming. And so he's like, I gotta get down to that. So he runs over to the fire escape. He's climbing down the fire escape. The crime is going on still. He's climbing down that fire escape. And he's like, I gotta get this crime. I gotta stop this crime. Oh no, he's gonna get away. He's like, hey, you stop that! Stop that!
Mutual combat. May I interest you in some mutual combat?
That's Phoenix Jones.
What's the beat of the fiddle?